the girls.
Hi everyone. Well, 2 days ago, Aaron Swartz, who was the co-founder of Reddit and the co-creator of RSS technology and also helped to bring down SOPA and PIPA, well, he was found dead at 26, apparently having hanged himself. And Mike Adams is asking the question, was this brilliant internet revolutionary taken out? I'm not going to go into all of what he says here, but I'd recommend that you read this article and see why he would think this. Aaron Swartz was targeted. He was really throwing big cogs in the New World Order wheel. And he actually had a lot of power. You know, he had a big voice. He was a very prominent activist. And he could get things done. And that's the kind of thing that the New World Order hates. Anyhow, there is a possibility that he was taken out. Although the official explanation was that he killed himself basically because he was up against a long jail sentence. It says here in 2011 he was charged with stealing millions of scientific journals from a computer archive at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in an attempt to make them freely available. He pleaded not guilty, and his federal trial was to begin next month. If convicted, he faced decades in prison and a fortune in fines. So it's possible that he just really didn't want to go to jail, but there's good reason why people think that he might have been taken out, because this has happened before. I mean, there's a long list of people whose deaths were suspicious, prominent activists, even lots of scientists. I'm going to tell you about some of them. This is from 2008. Rick Clay, age 26, commits suicide after this interview. Rick Clay was a researcher into conspiracy theories and the occult, and he'd been on Red Ice Radio a lot, and he had kept a blog for a long time. And he said that there was all kinds of weird occult symbolism in connection with the Olympics. He thought that there might be a staged alien invasion for the 2012 Olympics. And he pointed out that the logo for the Olympics apparently spelled Zion. Well, he suddenly killed himself. And it was supposedly because he suffered an adrenal breakdown. Now, his mother apparently accepted this explanation, but some other people thought that it was very unlikely. You can read more about Rick Clay here on The Ultimate Conspiracy Guide, Rick Clay and the 2012 Olympics. See, Rick Clay was going about business as usual. He was on the radio and all that, and then suddenly he just killed himself. Or he got killed. I don't know. There wasn't an invasion at the 2012 Olympics, and I think that the mayor of London even admitted that the sign did say Zion. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe something did happen. Another case was Andrew Breitbart. He was known as a media innovator and a conservative activist, and he said that he had footage of Obama that would show that Obama had a radical past. And then suddenly he died, and the official cause was a heart attack, but there was a lot of really weird stuff surrounding how he died, and after he died also more weird stuff happened. For one thing, after Andrew Breitbart died, so did the coroner who examined him. The coroner died of what looked like poisoning. He had stomach pains and other symptoms, and then he just kind of dropped dead like a couple days after he examined Breitbart. And there was another really strange thing. The only witness to see Breitbart die, whose name was Christopher Lassiter, then disappeared. Christopher Lassiter said that he saw Andrew Breitbart walking along and then just dropped dead. However, he said that Breitbart turned red right before he dropped dead, and that apparently is not something you would do with a heart attack. Well, you wouldn't, because a heart attack, you're not getting oxygen, so you wouldn't be red, you know, from a flush. If anything, you'd go very pale. And, well, the things that he said made it sound like, you know, maybe Breitbart had been hit with a poison dart. And then what was even stranger was that Lassiter himself disappeared without a trace after that. And as far as I know, he's never been found. You know, there was a good documentary made about Andrew Breitbart and all this weird stuff surrounding his death. I don't know where it is, but if you guys know, leave me a link, and then I'll post that in the description so everyone can watch it, because it was really well made. Another one I would include on this list of activists who died under mysterious circumstances attributed to suicide or natural causes would be Hunter S. Thompson. Here's an old article from Prison Planet. Hunter S. Thompson's suicide story changes. See, they originally said that Hunter S. Thompson shot himself while talking to his wife on the phone, and later they changed it to that he shot himself while sitting alone at his typewriter. Hunter S. Thompson was a journalist and an activist, and I heard that at the time that he died, he was working on writing a book about 9/11. Anyhow, his death was definitely suspicious. And last but not least, there is the list of dead microbiologists and other kinds of various scientists, people who have died under very strange circumstances since 9/11, roughly. Well, some of them were before as well. And there's this list here on rents.com, which I'll give you the link for it. These are just so weird. A lot of them, they look like obvious murders, and somehow they were ruled suicide. Let me give you one example. This is from 1987. Shani Warren, age 26, a personal assistant in a company called Microscope, which was taken over by GEC Marconi less than 4 weeks after her death. Circumstances of death: found drowned in 18 inches of water, not far from the site of David Greenhalgh's death fall. Warren died exactly 1 week after the death of Stuart Gooding and serious injury to Greenhalgh. She was found gagged with a noose around her neck. Her feet were also bound and her hands tied behind her back. Coroner's verdict: open. It was said that Warren had gagged herself, tied her feet with rope, then tied her hands behind her back, and hobbled to the lake on stiletto heels to drown herself. Do you believe that? You know, that just screams murder and conspiracy to me. Anyhow, there's a whole long list of these cases, and you could go check it out. And one last thing is, there's also a long list of politicians who have died in plane crashes. It's true that probably, you know, politicians fly these small private planes more than most people, and maybe those things are more dangerous than your average plane. But I find it weird that a lot of times, you know, not just politicians, but all kinds of people, like activists, who they get very vocal and they get very well known, and then suddenly they die. There was another one too. It was a woman who had met with President Obama. I can't remember the case exactly. I think her name was Eckert or something, like Beverly Eckert. Wait, let me go look it up. Yeah, that's it. Beverly Eckert was an activist and advocate for the creation of the 9/11 Commission. And she just suddenly died in a plane crash right after having met with President Obama. So there's tons of things like that. So was Aaron Swartz murdered? Or did he just kill himself because he didn't want to go to jail? I don't know. But let me know what you think. And thanks for listening to me. And I'll see you next time.